registered for an intense WTS MBA that I was not interested in. Never bothered to complete it anyway, just to attend those evening lectures to arrive home most days well after midnight. It was cheaper and healthier than keeping aside. If your house cannot be your sanctuary, you are going to be doing crazy shit. You're just going to be out here whiling. Why do you have to do all this just because you cannot sit down that woman you married and set her straight? You are so afraid of confrontation that you are doing everything in your power not to confront this elephant in the room. A man must learn to be comfortable with confrontation and with being confronted. You see, most men, most married men, and myself included, we don't like this thing where your woman is telling you the wrong things you are doing. We want to fuck up and nobody hold us accountable. So sometimes we say that we have a nagging woman. Sometimes we say that our wives are not giving us space. Sometimes we say that our wives are just toxic. Nyumba ni kelele tu. However, sometimes it is because of the things we have failed to do. We said we are going to do X. We've been given enough time to do X, but still we haven't done X. And some of these X things have a deadline. Like for example, we are in January right now. Next week, kids are going back to school. If your child does not have school uniform, there is a deadline for you to have purchased that uniform. So if by right now you've not purchased that uniform and your wife asks you why you've not purchased that uniform, that cannot be nagging. That is a strong reminder or a consistent reminder because you're supposed to be doing things. I have trained myself to be doing things well in advance, and even some of my friends laugh. I just want to be done with it as soon as possible because things pile up. Sometimes as men, it's not that we don't want to do this thing. It is just that we have too many things to do that some of these things just fall through the crack because we do not know how to plan our time. We don't know how to work with a schedule. Some of us men, we fail in that. And so we put our wives at a disadvantage to be labeled as people who nag. But they have no option but to nag because we have a deadline. Kids are going back to school on Monday. This is Friday. You are supposed to have done the uniform. And right now, if you go to school uniforms, you will find queues of people, last minuters, who are there now queuing, jamming the space up. And now, because of high demand, what happens? The price also goes up. And this is an item you could have bought a month ago, 2 weeks ago, but no, we just wait for the last minute. And then, God forbid, the person who is in charge of the distributor of uniforms, God forbid that something happens to them. Now it's Monday and your child does not have uniform. And then your wife is looking at you like, what the hell is wrong with you? And then you'll be there fuming. Let's not do all that. As a man, you have to be ready for being confronted. If you are not doing what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to be confronted on that. Also, men, we need to learn how to confront the women in our lives. You don't need to sugarcoat. Just say it the way you know. If she gets mad, she gets mad. It has been said. If she's mouthy, you tell her, hey, shut up. I don't like you yapping at me like that. Shut up. If it is the cold treatment when you get into the house, you say, hey, this is a house. You're not going to give me the cold treatment. If she persists, you say, okay, good. Now, assume that you're coming to a house with nobody. Get into your house, have fun with your kids, go to sleep. Ignore the woman. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. She's like, I thought I was punishing him by keeping quiet. But now he's not even talking to me and he's just moving on with his life. So that teaches her that I know that you are keeping quiet to punish me. So I am good with the silence. Come home. In fact, start coming home early. Start spending more time with your kids. Start engaging with your kids. Focus on them now. Have outdoor activities with the kids. Hey, kids, let's go somewhere. She starts to feel sidelined. She was punishing you by keeping quiet. You're good with silence. Do a good 3 months of silence. And then after the 90 days, sit her down, tell her, you know what? The next time you do silent treatment, we are going to double that. And the next time you're going to do silent treatment, we are going to double that. So we are either dealing as adults, where we communicate our issues and we communicate respectfully, or we exist here like children. You're supposed to be here to be an assistant to me. Do your job. If I have done something wrong, you can communicate respectfully. You can use your words. If you decide to use silence, then I'm also going to answer your silence with silence, because I don't know what silence means. So whatever it means, then my silence is the answer to your silence. You do not need to be awake at midnight because you can't fall asleep. Men, take charge of your houses. Subscribe to the channel. If not,
You're a bitch.